September 11th, 2001 is one of the most tragic days in American history. On that day, the Twin Towers were attacked in New York City and the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. They were attacked by Al-Qaeda, a terrorist organization from Pakistan. Almost 3,000 lives were lost, and that's from History.com, because of evil. George W. Bush gave a speech after the tragic and unnecessary disaster. The speech was delivered to inform the American people who had not heard that we had been attacked and for Bush to address the situation. George W. Bush played a huge role in American history because of the actions he took after 9/11. If President Bush wasn't in office during 9/11, things could look a lot differently. If someone who denied the fact that terrorists were a threat to our freedom had been in office on September 11, 2001, history could have played out differently. There could have even been another terrorist attack. Bush was concerned that our nation could be attacked by terrorists, so he wanted every terrorist group to be conquered. On September 20, 2001, Bush stated before a joint session in Congress, "Our war on terror begins with Al-Qaeda, but it does not end there. It will not end until every terrorist group of global reach has been found, stopped, and defeated." And that's from MillerCenter.org. Al-Qaeda, the terrorist organization Osama bin Laden was the leader of, was the terrorist organization that organized the attack on September 11th. George W. Bush gave his speech in the Oval Office on September 11th after the attack that morning. The delivery of the speech in the Oval Office was not significant. The attack was very serious and tragic, so Bush's speech was given to address the somber events. The tone of the president's voice was serious and remained the same throughout the whole speech. Bush looked into the camera the whole time while addressing the attacks on the horrific day. Bush spoke in a way that all Americans understood, and he felt he left no doubt as to who caused the tragic attack. Bush changed directions in the speech. He went from the negative attack on America to reminding the American people how strong they were. Bush stated, "America was targeted for attack because we're the brightest beacon for freedom and opportunity in the world, and no one will keep that light from shining." Bush reminded Americans of what made America a great nation and how important it was to come together as a nation. There was one specific quote that stuck out to me in the speech. Bush stated in his address, "We stand together to win the war against terrorism." The quote really spoke to me because people must stand together in good and bad times. Bush called for our country to come together to defeat terrorism. Bush's speech called for the American people to take action. He stated, "Find those responsible and bring them justice." He wanted the American people to know that we would not accept the tragedy. Bush promised that the ones responsible would be punished for the unimaginable crime. The audience of George W. Bush's speech was the American people, but there wasn't anyone present while Bush gave his speech because it was filmed in the Oval Office. Overall, people reacted to Bush's speech with patriotic pride. The American people were still in shock and anger that we had been attacked on our own soil. Bush's speech also delivered hope for the American people. The speech consoled America and laid the framework of what was to happen next. His speech made Americans remember why they lived in the greatest nation in the world. Thank you.